Hi, guys. Welcome to Open Tabs, where we highlight three stories taking up space in our tabs, our feeds, and our brains this week. I'm Emma Marshall. I'm joined, as always, by Melissa Blum and Megan Collins. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Okay, so we tend to stay on for an hour plus. Each week we're trying to be better. We're going to keep it to a tight 30. Wish us luck. So diving straight in. First at the top, I do want to say I really like the color story all three of us have going on with our palette of
Oh, look at
blue.
your nails. They look so
I know they're the same color as your shirt. Um, Fun for anyone watching us on video. Okay. First story. It's now a week of Love Island 2026 in our lives, season 8. Um, yeah, season 8. And what's really interesting, I watch it basically every day. Famously, a new episode airs 6 days a week. They give us a break on Saturdays. Um, I tune in every night with my sister. And what's interesting this week, it used to be in previous seasons, a very social first show. These contestants are in a villa. They have little villa phones where they receive messages from producers and can take their own videos and content in the villa. But famously, their personal social medias were always run by friends and family. And it was a very interesting vibe where then their friends or whoever was running their account would kind of become an influencer, and it would create a lot of different dynamics and little tree branches of drama branching out from the main show that's airing on Peacock. And this year they have decided to keep their personal accounts dormant while they are in the villa, in an effort to curb that off show social media drama. This is very interesting because we've been talking about this when it comes to Bravo and how Andy Cohen has been very vocal about hating social media drama that branches out from his shows and wanting to keep everything spicy on air. And I think it's very interesting that A1 Social First Show is now doing the same thing.
That is very interesting. And when you first told me about this before the season premiered, my initial thought was that this would just leave the aperture open for someone to fill that space because those narratives are still going to exist. It's just a matter of who's going to be in control of them. So I'm interested to see how that shakes out. I know that we've had already a little bit of drama where one of the contestants, people from back home, were like, I knew her in high school and this is what she was like. And then it was a discourse among the internet more so than it was with her herself because there was no one speaking on her behalf. And I feel like it's already kind of died down because there was no there.
Yeah, I think, granted, we're only a week and we have 5 more weeks. Um, I do feel like the temperature on social media is a lot calmer. I think having their friends run their social media accounts, and I think a lot of them would batch a ton of video content and then their friends would post while they're in the villa. Um, and I feel like it has helped tamper the parasocialness that we've been seeing in previous seasons, and that unhealthy fandom where it became not no longer fun. It's this is a stupid dating show with about a bunch of 22-year-olds, and they all live in Miami and they're now in this villa in Fiji, and this is the stakes were a little too high, I feel like.
Can I ask a dumb question? Because I don't watch Love Island, but now I'm intrigued, of course. It just has always felt like a big commitment to me. It's daunting. And just being, a mom right now, with my kids being so little, it just felt like I couldn't really commit. I need sort of more flexibility in
Mhm.
terms of viewing. That being said, I'm curious. So as this is running, is it live happening or has it been pre-taped and they're done?
I believe it's a 24-hour to 48-hour delay.
Okay.
So because they have to give them breaks. They can't just be like in the villa 24/7. So the one day a week the Saturday where they don't release an episode, I think it's that previous Friday, the day before, they are removed from the villa and they go to a hotel. And like they're all in their own separate rooms. They're not allowed to interact with each other off camera or like
Okay.
very, very
And then the
little. Like,
objective is that they, like, find love? Is that essentially, like
not the objective, but it's now like, I mean, it's kind of like a social media. In previous years, it was a social media popularity contest. And at the end, the winning couple splits 100K, I believe. But it's really about, like, I think in previous years, like, the social media followings. Like, it would be, like, last year when things were very parasocial, and, like, their accounts would, like, get into beefs with each other, like, while they're in the villa. It was all very weird. It became about, like, reaching follower milestones, I think,
Yeah.
more so than the cash prize at the end.
I mean, we're definitely, like it's interesting to learn this, and I'm seeing what Megan, what you're saying in the chat too, ratings are down.
For
Uh,
UK, for Love Island UK.
oh, for UK.
So
Oh, got it.
it looks like they already had this social media rule in
Yeah.
place in the UK. But then also the big
Uh,
story with Love Island UK right now is that the ratings are the lowest they've been in a decade. And correlation isn't proof causation, but I do think that that's notable. And I wouldn't be surprised if the same thing happened with Love Island US.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I have, like, so many thoughts on this. Like, I feel like if I think about other fandoms too, I mean, I do think Bravo is a good example of, like, seeing something, like, from the beginning of time with this type of programming and how I feel like even before the on-air talent became like, part of their contract was that they had to blog and they were supposed to post on social media, like, while their season was airing, which was something that, like, a lot of them had, like, a hard time doing or they'd try to outsource it. It's just, like, not always, like, organic for people, and then, of course, like, now there's just, like, so many, like, fandoms and, like, Bravo personalities that have sort of, like, just built themselves up over, like, the programming there. So, like, I don't think, like, if I was to, like, think about Bravo, like, I don't know if there's a world where they could do this, right? Like, you can't post during a season, or if it would be worth it to them. I mean, I definitely feel like between Scandival and then even the Summer House stuff too, like, the online like, the stuff that's happening in the time when the show is not on has always been something that, like, any TV show I've ever worked on has always wanted to be perpetuating, like, whether there's a season of something, what's happening for that fandom, like, when the season ends and then it picks back up again, how are you thinking about, like, the plane taxiing, the plane flying, and the plane landing during that season, and how do you, like, create that, consumer experience? And so, it's just interesting to me how they're approaching this, like, they must just think it must be causing such a negative connotation with the show that it's, like, not worth it, but I don't know, it's like, is this really something like, what do you guys think? Do you think it's a good idea?
I think it's a good idea for, I think, the islanders' mental health probably when they get out of the villa, because that's already a pretty jarring experience, I would imagine. I also think it's interesting in the casting they did this year. Um, I think they're trying to get back to the basics of more love, less influencers. Previous seasons, they were casting influencers, people whose job what full-time jobs were influencers. This season, it's very much people with regular jobs. Like, one was a cashier at Home Depot, one he was a garbage truck repair, like, mechanic. Like, they're trying to pick very, like, regular people. They also look a lot more, like, regular. I mean that as a compliment, like every day people, not so much like Instagram face. Um, yeah, exactly, Melissa. It's like I think they're trying to get back like I think this is them trying to go like back to basics. And I mean they haven't like ditched the influencers like Sierra Miller is hosting After Sun with Teffy, who is like an
Sierra
influencer who
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say Sierra's her own she's a reality star, I would say, before influencer, but okay, you were talking about who she was co-hosting with.
yeah, Teffy, who is very much an influencer and like basically grew her platform like talking about reality TV, including Love Island, and now she's co-hosting their like after show discussion. So I think like they know influencers are needed for them to like drum up viewership and attention, but audiences like felt last year that people were just going on to grow their follower counts, and like yes, that's just part of life now, but it doesn't make for great reality television when people aren't like genuinely invested.
Yeah, I mean, Andy has said with Bravo, like, he doesn't it's like influencers make, like, the worst on-air stars. They're just their storylines are, like or he's just like or they haven't found the right ones. But
Yeah.
I do think it's sort of like if you're on a reality show and your job is an influencer, it's almost like and I feel like this is something you say where it's like the snake eating itself. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
Like,
there
it's like, I'm on a
yeah.
show about doing this, and I'm making a show, and it's like, what is the substance? It, like at least, like,
Mhm.
Bethany's Rise was, like, making a business, and it felt like something you could, like, latch onto. And it's so funny, I started reading Yesteryear, which is, um, it's pretty good. I'm only, like, 100 pages in, but I'm like, "This is so interesting." Like, what is this a commentary of? Like and for those who haven't heard about it, it's this new book that's out. Hold on, I have the cover of it right here actually. By Caro Clareberg, and it's essentially about trad wives. Um, and allegedly, this trad wife in the story, which is definitely based on Ballerina Farm, is going to, I think, get thrown into back in time where she actually has to do the work of being a homestead, you know, trad wife, a traditional wife. I mean, I think I've been thinking about this a lot though too. Like it's so funny. Like one thing that is interesting about the whole trad wife movement is that it's good content for like viewing. You know what I mean? It's like interesting. It's like something is happening, something is being done. There's sort of like a beginning, there's a story arc to it. A lot of things are slow. Like you have to like make sourdough, you have to milk a cow. From a production standpoint, like trying to like create sort of a world, you're world making and you are like producing content. It's actually such a smart, like if you could immerse yourself in it, it really is just like you're filled with content opportunity around you that's like visual. Um, which again, versus like being a reality star that is becoming an influencer, it's like, well, what is it? What is the substance there to like bite down on? Um, but anyway,
Have,
back
have you
to
guys
return to analog.
have you guys heard of the 4 and the 5?
Yes, I love them.
Yeah,
No.
so they're like group of friends who have made a group TikTok account that
Okay.
they like post content about, and it's like their own little reality TV show. And I feel like that's kind of where lifestyle reality is heading, more in that space.
Mhm.
And I think what these shows need to do is kind of be more format first. And I think Love Island was very much about like finding love and this game that they've set up, but I feel like the game needs to evolve to the like kind of better reflect where we're at and create drama that feels like real without causing these people their mental health. And I don't know if they're doing it that successfully this season, but I feel like that's what's necessary for them to continue and be like a survivor or a big brother.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very interested to see we're only a week in, 5 more to go, how this evolves, and also how it affects ratings to your, chat, Megan, so that'll be interesting. Okay, next story we have is The Backrooms and why I think it's the perfect Gen Z, movie. Horror movie. So if you haven't watched it, I saw it last week. I loved it as a horror girl, a Gen Zer who loves horror. I
I still can't believe
thoroughly enjoyed it.
you are such a horror fan. I love that fact about you.
I'm surrounded. Well, these are all my like comic books back there, but my like Walking Dead comic books, like, gross horror comic books.
Do you just
But
like to breadcrumb facts about yourself?
I think I have a lot of, like, little things. My dad, has been a huge comic book person since he was, like, a little boy, and so, like, he passed that on to me. It's one of the few things we have in common, our love of comic books, or graphic novels.
I feel like we need to update
But
your bio on the M2 Deco site. Love of horror and comics.
I'll have to put all my, like, special interest on it. Um So we wanted to talk about The Back Room and why it's such a distinctly Gen Z movie. And if you don't know, it's like a pretty big deal right now. It just crossed over 200 million in box office internationally in 10 days. It's only been out for 10 days. It's A24's first movie, I think, to ever cross 200 million box office internationally. For reference, Marty Supreme, their last hit, only hit 191 million, and it's like total lifetime at the box office. And what's so interesting about this is that the director, Kane Parsons, is 20 years old and he got his start on YouTube. His channel has over 3 million subscribers. He has over like 200 million views. He's been posting videos for like the last 5 years, most of them about the back rooms. So, like, he's really about it. Um, and it's just caught on like wildfire. And Megan asked me when she told her I was going to see it last week to jot down my thoughts as a
Yeah.
Gen
I
Z.
can I just say one thing before we get to your amazing thoughts
Yeah.
too? Just from like a cultural strategy perspective, this was also A24. Like the messaging they went out was very much to get Gen Z. Like they were like, this is a Gen Z director. We let them do internet lore. Like it was very targeted at Gen Z, and they did a really good job of that. So I obviously was like, Emma, is this working on you? Do you like it? Like I need to know. And I love what you had to say.
It very much worked on me and my friend group of Gen Z women. We had been looking forward to seeing the Backrooms for like months when like the trailer released like 4 months ago or whenever it was. And for reference, if you aren't familiar with the Backrooms lore, it started off as just like a meme on 4chan, I think like 15, maybe even 20 years ago. And it's really about like the horror of liminal bland spaces and being trapped in a maze of like beige office rooms. And I pulled out why I think this is a distinctly Gen Z horror movie. And why it hits on like the existential dread that I think a lot of Gen Zers are feeling right now. The first one, Megan, I think you will like this because you hate nostalgia, manufactured nostalgia.
True. Very true.
Manufactured nostalgia. Oh my god.
When I was after I saw the movie, I like sat down the next day and like spent like 20 minutes jotting down thoughts. And I was like, oh, Megan's gonna really like this. Because the whole thing about the back rooms is that it like feeds on your memories, but it's always off. Like, so like people in your life, there'll be these like, but they're off. Their faces are weird. It kind of looks like they look like AI generated images, which goes to my next point of fear of AI, which I think was a big one. That a lot of it, they basically all the monsters in the Backrooms look like early renders of like AI generated images, where like somebody has like
Uncanny Valley type.
Uncanny Valley, and like they have 11 fingers and like a third eye, and like their face is lopsided, like weird. It's a human, but it's not right.
Mhm.
And getting stuck in algorithmic loops, I think, is like the ultimate overarching trend. And Kane Parsons said this outright. He said it's really all about the monoculture. Like we're all trapped in this like one monoculture together. And it can sometimes feel like you're a hamster on a wheel and you can't really escape or get out of these loops. Um, and then that goes to escapism, which is the last one. It's really about the main character who is so miserable in his own life that he chooses to escape into the back rooms, even though there are creatures and monsters there. He'd rather live in his like manufactured nostalgia that is the back rooms than his actual real adult life.
So interesting. And I feel like horror is such a genre that it comments on society. I wish I liked it more for that reason because it's always saying something very, very interesting. And it's very interesting to kind of hear the like Gen Z articulation and manifestation of the things that they're struggling with and scared of. And the backrooms are such a perfect allegory for that.
Yeah.
I have so many questions. Um, is it like when the main character chooses to go to the back rooms, like, are the back rooms virtual? Is it, like, unclear? Is he, like, an
It's
avatar
it's
that,
a
like
physical place.
it's
So
a full
it's a
place?
physical place. So the whole thing about the back rooms is that you can kind of like glitch out of our reality and our world into the back rooms, and like portals will open up. It's really like nobody means to go to the back rooms. You just like a portal opens and you're just like sucked into it basically.
It's so wild, like, this idea of other worlds and dimensions, like, again, just like the Midnight Library
Mhm.
concept, again, I finished Throne of Glass, like, that whole last book is, like, all about like, there's one part where at the end, the main character is falling through worlds, and it's all about, like, getting the, like, bad, evil villains in the book back to their world and, like, closing it off, and there's a tear and, like, jumping through, and then, of course, I'm reading Yesteryear, it's the same thing, it's, like, transporting to another world. It's so it's, like, pervasive in culture right now, like, I don't know, I
I
just
feel
find that
like the idea of timelines became very, very popular in the last 10 years. Like, I would say around the election of Donald Trump. And then, like, it continued into COVID where people are like, the timeline shifted. And there's kind of this idea of like, there's like a different world out there where different things are happening, but it's not, it's like so different from the present that it's like we would have to change the past in order to imagine a better future, you know?
oh my god. Well, that goes to that, like, 2019 theory, right? That, like,
What's the
What's
2019 theory?
that?
there was some theory that, like, was internet theory or, you know, conspiracy that we all died in 2019, and and then we're living, like, a copy of it right now, which is why things allegedly since 2019 feel a little off, and time moves really fast. So I have no idea what to say about that, but it is a conspiracy. Not perpetuating it, but, um
I also think it's a commentary on how we all do exist in like silos and like we all are living in different realities where it's like it is just like we can't have a shared version of like what is real anymore because of the algorithms. And you
totally.
can look at the world any way you want to depending on the lens with which you're consuming content.
I feel like it's similar to, I mean, Obsession, which was also a horror movie that came out directed by a Gen Zer, released about a month ago, that also blew box office expectations. and like the dangers of online life. Obsession is more about like a red-pilled incel and the dangers of these like nice guys that seem on the surface nice, but there's an insidiousness that can lurk under there. And the Backrooms, I mean, I think it just like totally paralleled like the digital worlds people create for themselves today and like living people live their lives online, but there's no real substance there, and how people's reality is feels so hopeless that they'd rather live in TikTok or Reddit or, you know, whatever corner of the internet they find themselves in.
Hearing you talk about it, it literally makes me think of Severance. Like, which also interesting, just this like collected hatred of being in the office. Like this idea of like being in the office is like the absolute worst thing.
Mhm.
Um,
Have I told you guys my theory on Severance?
No.
no, oh my God, I want to hear it.
Oh, that it's basically like this is what happened when with the rise of streaming, a lot of actors and Hollywood types who are performers got into the business side of Hollywood, and like it's not fun. And so I feel like they made Severance because they were like, this sucks. Having a desk job sucks because it's like a whole bunch of so it's like the creative expression of Hollywood having to like actually like go and not be in a meeting where they're just there to have smoke blown up their ass, but actually expected to like meet deadlines and hire people and take care of things and project manage. They're like, oh shit, this kind of sucks.
That's so funny. I mean,
And then Seth Rogen made The Town, so it's, like, kinda the same thing, but,
Mhm.
like, you know, the commentary on, like, the actual pen to paper business of Hollywood, I feel like celebrities only really started like, celebrities who we see in the public eye only really started grappling with that, I feel like, recently, you know? Like, Reese Witherspoon is, like, a mogul now, but now all the celebrities are in their mogul bag.
everybody wants to be like Jessica Alba.
Mhm. Do you guys watch Perfect Couple on Netflix? The Tina Fey show?
No, is it good? Should I?
Wait,
It's I think Melissa would like it because it's about marriage, and I don't think you would like it,
wait, which
Emma.
one? What is it about? Have I seen it? Is she in it? No.
She's in it, and it's about a friend group, and there's, like, 3 or 4 couples, and it's, like, every episode you spend a season with them, and then
Oh,
their friend group is being blown up because Steve Carell cheated on his wife.
yeah, I watched that whole yeah, I watched it.
Did you watch season 2?
No.
So season 2 just came out, and something you said, Emma, about Bear in Obsession, about how he's like a nice guy, but he's not actually a nice guy. I feel like that's something that we're also talking about of like who you are online versus who you are. But that's also something that's been around forever. So in 4 seasons, I forget the actor's name. He was an SNL guy. I
Will
always forget.
Forte.
Will Forte, yes. He is married to Tina Fey, and, like, his storyline this season, spoilers, but it's not that type of show where that matters, is that he's very angry, but he's such a nice guy that he's, like, he can't metabolize his anger, and then finally one of his friends tells him, "I'm sorry to tell you, you are an angry man, and you need to figure that out because you are an angry guy," and I think that that's what a lot of this is of, like, it's so easy to buy the things, post the things, create this personality of like, this is who I am and brand yourself as something. But if it's not who you actually are, that creates this weird like dissonance.
That is also a huge theme in the Backrooms, especially.
I think it's what we're
Yeah.
all and authenticity is a huge thing and whimsy maxing. I think this is something that everybody is grappling with because like our ideal we've been told and marketing has trained us to chase our ideal selves. You can create the appearance of an ideal self now, but to actually do the work is a whole other can of worms.
Love that. That is a very good segue, I think, into our last topic of the day. So we're going to talk about this live right now. But when we do post this episode, this will be behind the paywall. So if you want to watch back, um, you'll have to subscribe to our Substack. Okay, this is about a super interesting article that The Cut released last week about the rise of loneliness influencers. And these are majority young women on TikTok and Instagram who are posting about